Is the iPhone 13 Pro worth it in 2024? Let's find out after this. What's going on, everyone? You're tuned in with Spectacular Tech. This right here is an iPhone 13 Pro that was released back in September 24th of 2021. This iPhone was released with three other models: the base model iPhone 13, the iPhone 13 mini, the iPhone 13 Pro, and finally the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Okay, with this unboxing, let's place the phone to the side for now. Then we are greeted with two things under the phone: a USB Lightning cord charger and some paperwork. This is your standard Apple 3-foot Lightning to USB Type-C charger. It really is a shame Apple sells this 20-watt charger separately. It should have came with the phone. Okay, next we should have some Apple paperwork, which should be some Apple regulatory information, an Apple SIM card ejection tool with an Apple sticker. It would be really nice if Apple gave us colored Apple stickers that match the color of the phone. They apparently only do that when you purchase one of their 24-inch iMac computers. Let's put everything back in the box, starting with the paperwork. Then I'll close the box. Now we can focus our attention over to this iPhone. I'll pick it up to take a closer look. The size is very comfortable in the hand. Now let's peel this plastic off and take a look at the screen underneath. This iPhone has a 6.1-inch display with a notch at the top of the screen. This phone has a polished stainless steel frame, volume buttons, mute switch, and SIM tray on one side, 5G antenna on the other side along with the power button. Just more cellular antennas on the top. Then on the bottom we have speakers, the microphone, and the charging port. On the back of this phone we have a matte glass back with 3 cameras, flash, and LiDAR sensor. Now let's take a closer look at them. First, we have a 12 megapixel wide angle sensor. Second, we have a 12 megapixel telephoto sensor. Third, we have a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor. And finally, we have the LiDAR sensor with the addition of the flash and microphone. I'll talk more about the cameras later on in this video. Now let's take a look at the front. We're working with a flat 6.1 XDR 120Hz display. Also, if you're wondering what kind of screen protector I have on this device, this is an AM tempered glass screen protector. These are nice and smooth and feel like the actual glass display. They're very affordable, and I have a link to them in the description if you want to check them out. At the top of the display, we have a notch cutout with the front camera, ear speakers, microphone, and other sensors to make up the Face ID system. Face ID is quick and reliable on this phone. It takes just a split second to scan your face, then you can swipe up to unlock the device. What's really great about this feature is despite it scanning your face, it won't actually unlock unless your eyes are open and looking at the phone. So someone can't just unlock your phone while you're sleeping by having the phone in front of your face. With the front camera on this phone, this iPhone is using a 12 megapixel sensor that can record in 4K, and it has the ability to record and take usable photos and videos in low light. For most people's uses, you won't be disappointed with the quality from this camera. Now, all the way to the top of this display is where Apple has managed to pack the ear speaker, making the notch slightly smaller than the previous generation iPhone 12 and older models. Now, let's talk about the processor on this phone. This iPhone is running an Apple A15 Bionic chip with 6GB of RAM. The speed of this phone is very snappy and responsive. With the addition of the 120Hz display, it feels very smooth when scrolling throughout the OS. This is a demonstration of the speed of this phone by me scrolling around through iOS. As you can see, this iPhone hasn't lagged once. This is to be expected by its 120Hz display, but what about when launching apps? Well, see for yourself. With the 6GB of RAM, it's more than sufficient enough to handle you opening up a lot of apps. All these apps were cold launched and not previously opened in RAM. It's just as fast as scrolling throughout the iOS. Now, how about watching videos? Well, this content looks amazing on this 6.1 OLED XDR display. You may have a notch on the side of the display, but it doesn't take away from the viewing experience. The screen can get as bright as 1000 nits normally, or 1200 nits when watching HDR content. Also, in addition, when you're watching videos on this phone, some apps give you the ability to zoom in and out of the content, sometimes even allowing you to hide the notch with black bars so there's nothing obstructing the viewing experience. But that feature is usually only reserved for videos, not games. Now you're seeing a demonstration of how this phone handles gameplay. You're seeing this 120Hz display along with the A15 Bionic chip in full action with a graphically intensive game. When playing games for long duration sessions, this phone will get warm but not hot, unless you're charging the phone while playing games at the same time, or if you have a lot of unclosed background apps open while you're still playing games. But as to be expected when playing games, you can expect the battery to drain quicker than with normal usage. So how is my general experience with battery life on this 3-year-old iPhone? Well, first off, let me go into settings, scroll down, click on battery, and then click on battery health and charging. I still have 100% battery health. You may be wondering, how is that even possible if you use that iPhone for 3 years? I'll get to that in a second, but this phone is still able to get me through a full day with no problem. Now here are the secrets why I have such excellent battery health. First, let me open the Shortcut app, and now here are the settings I have programmed to micromanage my battery. It notifies me anytime my battery charges to 80%, so I can proceed to unplug the phone, and I can have it notify me when my battery is about to go under 20%, so I can charge it immediately. If you didn't know, batteries hate being under 20% and being above 80% for long periods of time. This accelerates their aging and degradation. Apple and other manufacturers have introduced software limitations to prevent the battery from charging to 100% and sitting at that percentage for too long. Software-wise, I'm running iOS 17.3.1. At the time of this video, the iPhone 13 Pro is a few years old, but it will still get many more software updates after this. Apple is exceptional when it comes to updating their older products, so you will not be missing out by not having the latest and greatest. A lot of the time, Apple programs these iPhones to update in the middle of the night when they figure it'll be most convenient for people. But enough with software, how does the camera perform? We're working with triple 12 megapixel cameras, wide, ultra wide, and telephoto. Let me first start by opening the camera app. I could snap a photo with the button on screen, but I'll use the volume button. Now I'll click the button at the bottom of the screen to view the photo result. Now, taking with the wide angle camera, I noticed this camera has brightened up the photo taken in low light. Now I'll go over to the telephoto camera and I'll zoom closely into this rock. The viewfinder does make this rock brighter again. Same with the ultra wide camera on this tall bush. I'm standing just a few feet away from this bush, but it looks a lot further from this camera viewfinder. Now let's see how this camera handles itself when you're taking a picture of something very bright in low light. Let's see if I can see the actual light bulb inside this outside light. Let's see the result. We'll zoom in to see the details. That's a good picture right there. The light bulb is perfectly visible. This phone camera is ready to take photos around them city night lights. With the front camera on this phone, it's also able to brighten up your selfies and record in up to 4K 60 frames per second. Okay, next I'll go over to video recording on this phone. It can record in Full HD at 60 frames, Full HD at 30 frames, 4K at 30 frames, 4K at 60 frames, and finally 4K at 24 frames. Features missing are the ability to pause while recording videos and to record in 8K like on Galaxy phones. Let's test a little video recording on the rear wide angle camera at 4K 60 frames per second. If you're going to record a lot of 4K videos, I highly recommend getting a higher capacity model of more than 120 gigabytes, maybe 512 or at least 256 gigabytes. Now, enough with photography, let's take things back inside. Okay, now that we're done talking about the cameras on this phone, let's quickly discuss the accessories I have used for this phone. I've already shown the Amfilm earlier in this video, but this is the case I have used for this phone. This is an OtterBox Symmetry case. It's slim, hard, and rugged, and easy to install. It has a lip on the front to protect the phone from face drops, along with falling in other areas. I highly recommend you get a case for this phone since it's glass on the front and back. I have a link in the description if you want to check this case out. Okay, finally, let me talk about the last topic of this video, and that is cellular connectivity. First off, if you live in the United States, the iPhone 13 series are the last models to have a SIM card slot. With the iPhone 14 and newer models, it's been removed. If your phone got damaged, you could easily transfer your SIM card into a different device without the need of getting assistance from the cell phone company. People outside the United States don't have to worry about this for now until Apple decides to remove the SIM card slot worldwide. This iPhone has the latest cellular technology to support sub-6 GHz and millimeter wave 5G for the fastest speeds. Now, using a Verizon SIM card, I'll go into settings and I'll make sure Wi-Fi is turned off. I'll demonstrate the speed by opening up some websites. First, let's try Google. Came up pretty quickly. Now let's try Amazon. I'll let the site load. Took a few seconds longer, but still was pretty quick. Now let's try Apple. I'll let it load again, seeing how long it takes. It took about the same time as the other website. Also, you have the option to control how you would like to use your 5G, like having it always on, or auto switching between 5G and 4G LTE, or having it on 4G LTE only to conserve battery life. Also, this phone supports eSIM. You most definitely won't have any complaints when it comes to network speeds on this phone. It has all the necessary hardware built inside of it to handle rural and city areas when using this phone in different environments. Now, let me wrap things up and answer the question I asked at the beginning of this video. Is the iPhone 13 Pro worth it in 2024? I say absolutely yes. It has exceptional cameras, a great design, still supports physical SIM card and eSIM, still gets software support, has a fast processor, 120Hz display, great battery life, all to make an excellent choice. Well, there you have it. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video on Spectacular Tech.